Good morning, everyone. So I'm Alok Sethi, and today I'm recording this video to help you in understanding how to do reconciliation of GST input credit by using Power Query in Excel. So we have one file which has multiple sheets, wherein the input is coming from multiple sources. So we are going to reconcile it using Power Query. So now I'm sharing my screen and I'll take you through the process. So first, what we need to do is we need to get the file into Excel and then go to data and get data from table. So when you select that, you will get an option of you will get into Power Query. So let's start from Power Query. So the first table that we have is PR data. Okay, so it is the data which has the GST information from the system. So it's a system-based file. What we need to do is we have to ensure that all the columns are properly aligned. Okay, so what we will do is we will create a duplicate of this file. Okay, and we will call it as PR working. Similarly, I'll create a duplicate of FCM also, and we will call it as FCM working. So always make a practice that whenever you are working with any data set, you don't touch the raw data, the original data, you keep it as it is, and you create duplicate files so that we can work on that. So if anything happens, we can always go back to the main data set. So here also we have working and similarly signet. So these are the four sheets that we are going to work on. So we are going to reconcile one by one, and I'm going to take you to the entire process. So first, what we should do is we should keep only those columns which we require for reconciliation. So there are multiple columns over here, right? So we'll go to choose columns and then again choose columns. In the home tab, the option is there. Now it will give you a vertical list of all the columns that are there. We will select what column we want to keep. So let's say from my PR data, I want to keep the GST of supplier, the party bill, the invoice date, taxable value, CGST, SGST, and IGST. So I'll select all these and I'll keep it. So now my table has only these limited 7 columns. Secondly, the invoice should be in the format of text. So we have to make sure that the invoice is in form of text because it has alphabets as well as number. Invoice date is in the form of date. All these values should be in the form of fixed decimal value. So we'll select all these by clicking on the select button and selecting all. We'll right click on the first one, we will go to change type and we'll make it fixed a decimal number. Okay, so now they have come in number format. Okay. Then what you can do is you can check if there are any errors in the data. So we'll go to column profiling based on entire data set. Okay, it will show me like so here there are 99 valid, 0% error, less than 1% empty. So there are some empty values in the party bill and GST, and we will see why there are so. This is so. So if you select null, you will see all those values where there is no GST. So whereas there is one invoice where we do not have the GST mentioned. Okay. So this might not come in the records. So what we need to do is we need to actually check. And similarly, we have one, I think the same record doesn't have the invoice number as well. So here also see the invoice number and the GST is missing. Okay. If you So apart from this, everything is 100% valid. So this is fine. Now let us go to the next sheet, which is Signet Draw. Now in this sheet again, we'll do the same thing. We'll select those columns which you want to keep. So we will go to choose columns. And a lot of list is there. We will select supplier GST. I can type also. So I want to have GSTN, this PR GSTN what we are going to take. Then I'm going to take the document date and the document number. So I'll call it as document. I'll select PR document number, PR document date. Okay. So we have the GST number of the supplier, we have the date, we have the invoice number. Now we just want the values. So I will call it as taxable value, PR taxable value, IGST, CGST, and SGST. So we have the required columns which we wanted. Again, you have to make sure that the columns are properly in the same data format. So it is text, it is also text, it is date. All these we have to convert into fixed decimal numbers. So I'm going to do that. Again, press Control, right click, change type and fixed decimal number. So here, uh, if you see, there is in the document date, there is one less than 1% empty. So I think there are some rows which has null value. Let us see how many records are there which do not have a invoice date. So there are three records you can see which do not have the invoice date. So this is some uh, this incomplete data, or there is some inconsistency in the data. Anyways, let us go to the FCM. Let us go to MP2B, and now again. Now, first thing what we should do here is that you see that the first row is null. So that means we don't require the first row. We'll remove the top row and we will write one. I want to remove the first row. And then these are my headers. So I'll promote them as headers. Use first row as headers. Now I can decide which column I want to keep. So again, I'll go to choose columns, and again I'll choose the columns which I want to keep. This exercise is to be done a single time only. So now we can see we need supplier GST, we need document date, we need document number, we need taxable value, IGST, CGST, SGST. I think this is the ones that we need. And all the three are coming properly. Now these four will convert into fixed decimal values. Change type, fixed decimal number. Similarly, last sheet is FCM. Let's go to this sheet. And here also, uh, okay. So we have claim month, CST of supplier. So headings are proper. I can go to choose columns. Choose the columns which I want to keep. So I want to keep GST of supplier. Then CP invoice number, CP invoice date, tax value, IGST, CGST, SGST. Here we have to make it text. Date is coming as date. These columns are to be converted into fixed decimal numbers. So one thing you have to make sure that before you're converting, make sure the null are converted to zero. Okay. So how to do that? We'll go to right click and we'll say replace values, and you will type null and replace it with 0. And now we will do the change type. We'll just bring it down. So now it will get converted to the fixed decimal number. So my tables are ready for the working. Okay. First step that we are going to do is we are going to reconcile our PR data with the Signet data. Okay. So Signet and PR we are going to reconcile first. So let us go to PR data. And I want to see like how many rows data it is. So we'll do entire data. Okay. And then we'll go to view and column distribution. So it is showing me there are 1112 distinct record and 43 unique records, something like this. So if you select any column, it will show you how many records are there. So 1313 count of invoice dates, or you can say invoice are there, 1313. One is empty over here. If you go to Signet Raw, same thing will do here also. It is showing 1000. Okay, so entire data set. So we are just verifying the data is in the right shape. Okay, so it is saying 13965. Okay, that may be possible because we are having multiple year data over here. In the Signet, we have multiple year data. In the PR data, we have only the current year data, right? So first verify how many records are from the current year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take PR data as a base, and I'm going to go to home and merge queries as new. So in the merge queries as new, I'm going to select Signet raw working file, and I'm going to match these based on GST and supplier, party, bill, and invoice date. These are the first three columns that I'm going to take together right now. Uh, Maybe we can take the taxable value as well. So four columns. So again, PR GSTN, second is invoice number, third is date, fourth is PR taxable value. Now, what it will do is, out of 1313 records, it could identify 1199 as matching from Signet, okay, based on all these four parameters. Okay. If you remove the taxable value from both the places, so we are getting some more records, 1204. Okay. So that means there are some differences. Okay. If you remove the invoice date and we just check the records. Again, we're getting around 1206. So let us take invoice date. Let us not take the taxable value as of now. And 1204 we are getting. So let's go and do this. So here you will get table. Okay, so table means like all the other columns of the table will be there. Okay, where we have the GSTN and the invoice number and all. So what we will do is we will keep some of the rows from here. So I don't want to keep all the rows. I will just keep the document number and the document date. Or maybe I can keep the values also if you want to check whether they are right or not. Right? So we have got these. Now what I can do is I can move this to my beginning. So here, if you observe, all the columns got moved. No worries. Let me move them towards the end. You see, we have the PR document number and this is the party bill number. So we'll keep these columns together. First is the GST supply. Then you can see both the numbers are same. I can just move towards this towards the end again. So this is my first reconciliation table where I have reconciled your PR data with Signet. Now, let's do one more thing. Let's create a duplicate of this, and we will go to source again. So everything remaining same, what we are going to do is we are going to find out which are those elements which did not get reconciled. So instead of using the left outer join, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the left anti join or right anti join. So the selection excludes 1210 of 3965 rows from the second table. So these are those entries which are not there in our PR data. So we will keep those also. And what we will do is we will keep this column and remove the other columns because we just want to keep those entries which are not there. So we will go to the last step. We will not expand this actually. Yeah. So now I'll keep this and remove other columns and I'll expand this table. So this is showing unreconciled items. So this is the first stage where we have reconciled the PR data with Signet based on three elements. Now what I'll do is I will do further go down and I'll create a reference of this and again we'll go to source. Let me create a duplicate inside. Yeah, in the duplicate you get all these information actually. So we will remove the two steps and we want to just come to the source. Now I'll open the source and see earlier I had chosen only three variables. Okay. Now we will choose the fourth variable also, taxable value, and even the IGST. So now we have only 938 values of 111313 matched. Okay. So you can see, or if I want to reconcile based on all the columns, then I can select all the columns. And based on that, the selection matches 0, okay, of 1300 from the first table. Okay, so basically we have to do in the same sequence. So first is GST, and second is PR date, third is date, taxable value, then IGST. So fifth is IGST, sixth is CGST, seventh is SGST. Notice inner join. Why is it so? Yeah, because see, when we are comparing IGST, CGST, SGST will not come, and CGST, SGST will not come when you are comparing IGST, right? So that is why this could be a reason why it is not panning. So maybe we'll go with these four variable. Maybe we can take IGST also if you want to, and then you can create this table. Yeah. So 938 records matched. So we will call it as. So this is the reconciled data. Okay, so you can keep the taxable value IGST amount since it is cheap. And we can rename this query. So we will call it as reconciled data with signet raw IGST. Now we are going to do the same with SGST and CGST. So one more time we'll do the same thing, refresh, and then we will keep the unreconciled rows also. So here I'll double click on the source. So, yeah, okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to check these five items together, wherein we are trying to match. Okay. Now see, it is showing null in the CGST SGST. That is why the problem is coming. So what we should do is we should replace the null with zeros. And then again you change the type to dollar. Fix decimal number. Now we can go ahead and do the reconciliation. CGST, CGST. You can select inner join. So 948 of 1313 rows matched. Okay. So if we want to use fuzzy match, we can use fuzzy match also. It is not go to mining. Okay, no problem. Let us first choose this. If we remove the invoice number, then let's see how many records are coming. 982. 948. So there are some 40 invoices where there is some difference. Okay, so we will look into that. Let us first check this. And what we will do is we will keep some of the rows from here. So I don't want this. We'll keep taxable value and CGST or CGST. Or maybe we have taken CGST. CGST. Now, one last time, we create a duplicate, and this time again, same thing I'll do, but in a different manner. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this and remove the document number or keep the document number and use fuzzy match. So my GSTN, then document number is 2. So let me select invoice number, invoice date first, principal wrap, then yeah, and let us use inner join, fuzzy match, and let us click on OK. We only support text column for fuzzy joins operator. The invoice date is not a type of text. Okay. So we cannot apply a fuzzy match over here. Or what you can do is you can remove the invoice date and we can use a fuzzy match. Okay, again the same problem. So flexible value is not text. So we'll remove the text value only. So what we are checking is we are matching the invoices from the PR data to Signet using the supplier and the bill number. 1239 records of 1313 found. Okay, let's keep this. And we'll call it as GST plus invoice number. Now I'll do one more thing, one last thing. We are going to check where there is a difference between the invoice number, why I did not match. So again, the same thing we are going to do. Uh, this time I am going to remove the document and what I'm taking is left NT, right NT. Only rows in first, only rows on second. Okay. In March. So, so basically what it is going to do is it is going to give us what is not there. It is going to give all those numbers which are not there in the PR data, but we don't want that basically. We want only rows in the first. And rows in the second. Okay, so we'll select left outer all from first and matching from second. So, but it is going to give me matching. I don't want this. I want the other one. So let's do one thing. Let's keep Signet on top and keep PR data here. And now let us check based on these three parameters. Let us remove the date also, only the party in GST, and let us select right entry. So it is going to give me those invoices which are not there in the other table. I'll remove the other columns and we'll expand this table. So these invoice numbers are not there in our PR data. So we can call unreconciled PR data with signet raw invoices not in PR data. Okay, so this is one set of reconciliations which has happened. Okay, and now let me close and apply. So I started through Power BI. I imported the data, the Excel sheet in the Power BI. So what it is going to give me, it is going to give me the clean data into Power BI. It is going to load all these tables which we have created so far using the queries. Okay, it is going to load this. I'm going to save this in Power BI, and then in the next, I will explain how to go ahead with other reconciliations as well. So this all looks very tricky in the beginning, but once you practice this enough, it will become a cakewalk. You have to just follow the logical steps and do it. Once we create this query, then we can just copy paste the code and we can put to other files, and then we don't have to do it all again. But your data should be in the same format, otherwise it will not work. So it is getting loaded. Because the file is heavy, lot of data, so it is taking time. Otherwise, it doesn't take much of the time to load once the cleaning is done. If there are any errors, you can look at the errors, but that is okay because you don't want to load those this thing, right? No problem. We can close this. We can save this file. So I'm calling it as HCL Vasdev reconciliation. So this file is saved. Now see, whatever we have done, it's there here. So this was the raw data, 1, 2, 3, 4 files were raw. And then we created working files. This is my reconcile data. So if I try to find out from my reconcile data, like how many invoices are there? So let's say if we take the count of signet raw and invoice document number, instead of first, let me select count. So it is showing 1300, 3965 invoices are then the signet. Copy this. And if I put the same from the PR data, the invoice number Instead of first, let us select count again. It is 1312. Okay. Now, if I say reconcile, signet reconciled. Let us select invoice number. Let's select count. Mhm. Reconcile data with signet raw. Okay. Yeah. So 1210 out of 1312 we could reconcile. Okay. If you want to see like how much we could reconcile based on other parameters, reconcile with signet CGST or IGST. IGST. Because has to see. Yeah, invoice number and this I can just select the invoice number over here, make it count 1213. Now let us take the IGST amount. Once let us take the amount only. So let me take IGST from Signet working. So it is 826.53 million in Signet working. If we take PR data, same amount from PR data, IGST from PR data is 250 million. If I take from my reconciliation table, so IGST from the reconcile with PR data. So what else will start? Oops, 6. IGST. So here I will take this number. 245.06 million. So out of this, we could reconcile this only some some 5 million value we could not reconcile. Okay. So now let me take the value from unreconciled GST, and GST amount from unreconciled GST. So unreconciled PR not PR with segment, unreconciled PR with segment IGST. Sorry, so reconciled. So this is exactly the situation, what the situation is. Okay. So 4.71 million of data we could not find. If you take the difference of these two, it is kind of the same, this one only. And if I want to get the list of all those transactions which we could not identify or where there is a difference, I can go to unreconciled via data and I can select GST and supplier, then the invoice number, the value, IGST, CGST, SGST. And here, so this is 4.34 million of transaction value. This is 47 million 5 lakh is the IGST which we could not reconcile. So we don't want CGST or SGST, or we can just keep this. We want to avoid the taxable value also, we can avoid that. And what we can do is we can keep the date in the slicer. So let us put the invoice date from unreconciled data with IGST. Let's keep the date. So it is showing me here, I suppose in 2025, I want to see what is the unreconciled. These are the bills which we could not find, which are not found in the Signet, which are there in Signet but not in the PRB. So this is how one part of reconciliation is done. Similarly, we'll go for other. If we select 2024, you show me all these invoices for 24. If you want to see the date also in the table, we can add the date column also. I think that should be good. Immediate date column. So here we are getting the data also. We'll move this date for the GST number. So these are the invoices which from 2024 is not available.